We've got a salty deck for you today. Here's my take on Edgar Markov. For every counterspell that people don't like, trust me, the Eminence triggers here more than make up for it for a creature deck. Also, I just had some dental work done, so my face is numb. I'm not having a stroke. Edgar starts giving value the moment you start casting vampires. Getting 2 for every 1 that you play is a great deal. This means the more you play, the bigger the board gets, and the faster the game ends. And that frustrates people, but you know what? Lots of people love playing Edgar, and this is your reminder that Eminence. Sorry, this is your reminder that Eminence is a busted mechanic. All right, we love to see a new include in Court of Embreth. If you can keep the Monarch, then you just get to burn out opponents for a bunch of damage. You're gonna have tons of creatures on the battlefield. The best card in Edgar Markov, Captivating Vampire. Tap 5 untapped vampires, gain control of a creature. You get Legion Lieutenant, which is on flavor as we return to Ixalan. Same with Sanctum Seeker. Welcoming Vampire was a new addition a couple years ago. Getting card draw once a turn, even just once a turn, is really good. You're going to be making a bunch of 1/1s, so obviously Skull Clamp is the best card in the deck. Keeps that juice flowing. Descendant's Fury is a new get for the deck. Start turning your tokens into real cards from your deck, which I'm assuming can only be super powerful. Gain control of more creatures by biting them with Olivia Voldaren. We got Falcon Wrath Pit Fighter, which is more card draw on a 1-drop body. We also get a nice little reanimate package with Olivia Crimson Bride, bringing creatures back from the dead. It's a Mardu deck, so you know I'm jamming Blind Obedience to keep the other boards tapped down. We got a 2-mana win con in, and they shall know no fear. This will probably end the game if you get it late game. Literally spoiled in the last couple days here. We've got Dusk Legion Sergeant. Sacrificing him gives all of your vampires persist until the end of turn. That's awesome. And of course, the most helpless feeling in the world, going to your end step with Throne of the God Pharaoh. Each opponent loses life equal to the number of tapped creatures you control. This means you only need to get everyone to like 10 life remaining, not 0. I went digging for key cards, so you don't have to. Of course, we're talking the dino of all dinos, Gishath, Sun's Avatar. The game plan here is really straightforward. Get Gishath out as soon as possible, attack, and start putting big dum-dums on the battlefield. But now that we're entering the Lost Caverns of Ixalan, there's new dum-dums to play with. Enter Hunting Velociraptor. One of the biggest problems with a dinosaur deck is the huge mana cost of the most impactful spells. Getting some damage in is allowing you to cast dinosaurs for 2 and a red. Come on, that's amazing. Even clever. You're playing big dinosaurs, so you might as well do something silly like put them on a spaceship. I have no idea how this relates to a Doctor Who episode, but come on, the name of the card's just priceless, and it's going to make more dinosaurs. You're casting big spells, so you might as well get an Up the Beanstalk in there so you can keep drawing cards. This might be the fairest way to play Up the Beanstalk, but hey, anything to get a few more cards in your hand, right? Obviously, we're trying to cheat a Tali Primal Storm into play, and now we even have a Tali Primal Conqueror. Something new to add to the mix for sure, still powerful. Flipping it turns it into essentially Blightsteel Colossus, so that's amazing. So how do we get our dinosaurs out quicker? Ramp spells. Here we have Otepic Huntmaster. Makes your dinosaur spells cost 1 less. We got Kinjali's Collar. Makes your dinosaur spells cost 1 less. We've got Wayward Sawtooth. Allows you to play more than 1 land per turn. That's really good rate for this guy. Honestly, I would stick an Azusa Lost But Seeking into the deck because, again, you really do want to get as many lands onto the battlefield as possible. We've got Knight of the Stampede. Dinosaur spells you cast cost 2 less to cast. Now let's talk about some of the more cool cards you can play. You get to play the Tarrasque. That seems like fun. You get to jam in a Thrasta Tempest's Roar. Always a powerful thing to be doing. We've got the perfect cycler card for your deck. Yadaro Wandering Monster. It's a dinosaur turtle. How could this not be fun? If you draw it and you can't cast it, you cycle it away, and maybe you'll hit it off Gishath later. If you draw it again, you'll cycle it away, and maybe you'll hit it off Gishath later. I think this is a really important add to the deck. So that's what we're doing here. Big monsters, as fast as possible to Gishath, have a great time, and know that people will try and not let Gishath resolve. Hope that helps. Come along with me as we build Mono Blue Stompy. You heard correct, folks. Quan, Lord of Wu, is going to lead us into battle, and give all our creatures horsemanship. That means tons of attacking in blue, and you have no idea what's possible here, so let me show you. We're getting big blue creatures, so I gotta talk about ramp first. Throne of Eldraine, brand new card, taps to make 4 mana of the color you need. Later on, it's a draw engine if required. Another new card, Horned Lockwhale. The Adventurer's Lagoon Breach. You get to put a creature on the top or bottom of its owner's library. And we got a 6/6 with Ward 2, so nothing to sneeze at here. Obviously, this is a Sapphire Medallion deck. We got to get those blue spells cheaper. It's also a Kefnet's Monument deck. Blue creature spells cost 1 less to cast, but also you get to ice your opponent's creatures. That's really powerful. This deck is also the perfect Defiler of Dreams deck. You can pay 2 life instead of one of your blue pips to cast your creatures. And whenever you cast a blue permanent, draw a card. This is awesome. Finally a great deck for this. Since we're playing mono blue, this is definitely going to be a devotion deck. We're trying to get as many permanents on the battlefield as possible. That means Nykthos Shrine to Nyx is a huge land in this deck. Along with that, we get to play Master of Waves. It has protection from red, but what's really awesome is you're going to end up with a lot of 2/1 blue elemental creature tokens. We also get to play Calafi, Beloved of the Sea. It's going to be a huge beater, and it's going to give your creatures a bunch of buff. Another way to protect your creatures is with Kira, Great Glass Spinner. But remember, the first time you target your creatures, it also gets countered, so just be aware of that. Now, there's lots of effects like Biden of Thassa, but it's the one that I like the best. So get yourself a card draw spell like this. Coastal Piracy would work as well. Underrated ramp spell, we've got Thada Adel Acquisitor. Go get an artifact from your opponent's deck. That's always fun. You get to play Ancient Silver Dragon. It doesn't matter that it has flying, because apparently it's going to also be riding a horse in this deck. That's amazing. If Sun Quan gets removed, Grazilax helps us keep our creatures safe. Sea Dasher Octopus turns some of your creatures into a better devotion, and it deals combat damage and drawing cards. Removal on a permanent is always really good, so if we can make and use Witness Protection to turn one of your opponent's creatures into a legitimate business person, that would be great. Now here's a cool card from Mirage I'd never seen before. It's got amazing art. Kukemsa Pirates. If it's unblocked, you can choose to have it deal no damage, and you gain control of target artifact that player controls. That's amazing. And then our weirdly mass board wipe here is going to be Filter Out. 3 mana, return all non-creature, non-land permanents to their owner's hand. Well, we're playing big blue creatures, and other people might not be, so 3 mana to remove everything but creatures is going to be great for us. We're going to set them way behind, and this card costs like a gumball compared to Cyclonic Rift. But I would also play Cyclonic Rift in this deck as well. So there you have it. Sun Quan, Lord of Wu, Mono Blue Stompy. You could add extra turn spells to this deck for sure. Once you got critical mass on the board, you want to close the game out as soon as possible. You get to play some counter spells and things like that because you're in blue, and that's what you do in blue. But this sounds really fun, so hopefully this helps. Come build a commander deck with me. I was initially unsure about it, but I think this one works. There's definitely some depth here, so let's dig into it. Anakin Skywalker hates the sand, but you won't after seeing Hazezon, Shaper of Sand. Now, because there's only like 15 deserts that we can play in Hazezon's colors, I thought we wouldn't be able to get very far with it. However, because of some newer cards, the impact you can have on the game with those deserts is absolutely huge. Why don't we jump right into the Lost Caverns of Ixalan and include Oher Tak, Deepest Foundation. If 1 or more tokens would be created, create 3 times that many tokens instead. What? That means 6 tokens for every single desert we play? Yes, please. Alright, you might be thinking, well, where do we get these deserts? Well, most of them come from Amonkhet and Hour of Devastation. Of course, you've got Ramanop Ruins, which did get banned in Standard. You also get Hashep Oasis and Shefet Dunes. Both of those buff your creatures, so that's really nice. Nahiri's Lithoforming is probably going to be the best card in your deck. Sack some lands, draw some cards, play some deserts, just go off. We can also play absolute green staple Crop Rotation. 5 mana for a ramp spell is meh, but Hour of Promise gets us zombies as well, so that's going to be really nice. New Eldraine card, Loamcrafter Fawn. You get to discard a land card to draw a card, so that's kind of cool. Every lands deck needs Azusa. More land drops, more fun. We get to play some legacy staples now with Elvish Reclaimer. Ramanop Excavator to get lands out of our graveyard. Crucible of Worlds to get lands out of our graveyard, Scape Shift to bomb out all of our deserts, and we get to have super fun ending the game playing Avenger of Zendikar. I didn't realize that Hazezon was going to be a landfall deck, so there's definitely way more payoffs you could be adding in here, but I just felt like, you know what, let's make some plants grow in the desert. A little off theme, but definitely the oasis you want to be living in when you're playing an attacky deck like this one. Hope this helps.